So, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys up front. I'm not a big fan of power scaling. The only reason why I've decided to make this tier list in specific, two reasons actually. One, I really been enjoying doing these tier lists a lot, so it was just another excuse to do it. But also, it was an idea that a fellow subscriber gave me because he was a little bit confused about how the ranking system actually functions. So you have the way that the ranking system works, you have the SSS, which is the top, the most dangerous ghouls, and you have the SSS plus, SSS minus, and all that stuff, right? And yes, to me it's a little bit confusing as well, if I'm being honest, but because I never really paid much attention to it, never really paid much attention to power scaling and series in general, and Tokyo Ghoul, it's such a unique story in the sense that the way that Ishida portrays power scaling, the way he presents characters is very simple in terms of their powers and nature. At least to me it was while reading it. But then you have, these rankings, and the reason why Tokyo Ghoul as a series, as a story, is so different when it comes to power scaling is because the way that Ishida made these characters, their powers, their kagune, are a product of their own imagination. Each kagune becomes stronger and creates a different shape and form depending on the psychological state of the character. And so that's why I've always focused more on the story than in the power scaling of things, because it's, the way that each character, in the story, Ishida never really explains why this certain character is more powerful than the other, and vice versa. I decided to make things a little bit simpler and just create my own specific power scaling in order to make things a little bit more clearer. Again, I know this is a really heavy topic. I know usually a lot of fans pay too much attention to power scaling, and I just want to say up front, I'm not an expert in any way, so don't expect me. I'm not the power scaling god, so don't expect my word to be law. I'm just, doing this for fun, analyzing these characters and their, powers and skills. It's not just going to be their powers, their sheer power. I'm also going to take into account their abilities, the way that they use their abilities and their intelligence and all of that stuff, and taking the information of the manga, my own perception of these characters, and run through with that. So I decided to pick the power scaling of One Punch Man, since not only it's one of the most simple power scaling I think we see in anime and in manga, but also it's a power scaling that I personally really love, and I think it fits well with this tier list. I'm going with that in order to simplify things a little bit. The way that I'm going to do this, every single character that you see here on the list I'm going to count the final version of each character. So, for example, with Kaneki, right? I'm not going to count each personality that Kaneki has had. I'm going to count just the last version of Kaneki, since I think, it will be much easier if I do things this way. The same thing with Arima. Instead of counting Arima as he was younger, I think we all know the answer to that. If I counted young Arima, he will be god tier right away. He's going to be god tier right away either way. Spoiler alert, but still, obviously, young Arima is the most powerful character, regardless, at least in my opinion. So yes, without any further ado, hopefully I've explained all of the rules before I start the video, and I'm already at the 5-minute mark, and I'm trying to see if I don't make any edits, so let's just let's just make this right away. Geez, I'm incredibly excited for this. So Harima, starting with Harima, obviously I'm going to put Harima on God tier. I mean, there's no, I don't really need to explain myself. Even counting Harima with a little bit of his blind loss, as he's still one of the top tier characters. and there's still some debate that the reason why Kaneki defeated him was because he allowed it, not necessarily because of his eyesight. It's definitely debatable. I'm not going to go through it too deeply, because obviously that's very subjective. There's no clear evidence, I think, in the manga to suggest either side is right or wrong. But at the end of the day, I still think there's no question that Arima is absolutely god tier. And of course Kaneki is also god tier as well. I think there's no denying, at the end of the series he's become your typical shonen protagonist. He has just become the most powerful of them all. I'm not going to put him below or above Arima. I decided for this tier list to not do that, as I've been doing with other tier lists, ranking the characters in each tier. Firstly, because it's easier for me, I'm not going to lie, but also it's a pain in the ass because I'm constantly changing my mind. You see this video and I'm probably going to change my mind after I upload it. So might as well just keep it at that. I think we can all agree Arima is the absolute best, but yes, because Arima dies at the end, and Kaneki is the one staying alive, Kaneki, I think it's no big secret, becomes the most powerful when it comes to sheer power and even skill, you could say, at the very top, Dragon Kaneki, at least. So now we have Eto. Eto, I think I'm going to put Eto in Dragon for now. And the reason why I don't put her God is because, yes, she is definitely one of the most powerful characters, for sure. But she's definitely the third most powerful, I would say. No, the fourth probably. But because Arima and Kaneki are on God, and taking in consideration the rest of the characters, she probably fits in Dragon better. Now we have the other Yoshimura, the manager. I'm going to agree on the because in the wiki page you have the ranking. I don't think they're in order, because you have each character is on the ranking, and then you have a lot of characters on the same ranking, right? On the same tier. For example, you have Eto and Yoshimura in the SSS tier. But I don't think there is an order of which one is more powerful. But I still think either way, Yoshimura, even his final version, I would say it's still on that SSS tier. I mean, still deserves to be on Dragon. I think a lot of people sleep on the manager, if I'm being honest. He is an absolute beast. I think a lot of people forget that he's incredibly powerful, and even in his, even old as he was still incredibly powerful. So now we have Roma. Roma, obviously, I think it's Dragon as well. Again, another character that a lot of people sleep on. If you're an anime-only viewer, you probably recognize Roma from... She was in Rurei, the second season of the anime. She was one of the new members of the coffee shop, working at the coffee shop. She was very clumsy. She was always slipping letting slip the coffee mugs and all that, and breaking stuff, and Nishiki was always yelling at her. Yeah, and she also appears in in the anime of Ri. Well, if you just watch the anime, you may be thinking, "What? You're going to put her on in Dragon?" In the manga, and I think it was a surprise for everyone reading the manga. She is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, character alive in up to that point. When after she dies, before she dies, oldest characters in the series, and she's also one of the most powerful. It was one of the biggest twists in the story, in my opinion. And yeah, she was incredibly powerful, facing two quite formidable investigators, although one was handicapped. But again, the reason why he was handicapped was because he faced Yoshimura. That's why I say a lot of people sleep on Yoshimura. But yeah, she is definitely the dark horse of the series for sure. And yeah, I do agree she belongs on the SSS tier. And so Dragon represents basically the SSS. So the god ones, I think, are the ones on top of SSS. Basically SSS plus. Of course, we have why am I blanking on his name? Damn, I'm blanking on the owl. Jeez, that's not his name. See, in the last tier list, I was blanking on people's names as well. But yeah, also he is incredibly powerful. Also belongs in the Dragon. One of the most powerful characters. Also a big surprise that he was able to defeat Totara in the way that he did. Out of all of the, he was definitely the second, even though psychologically he was all messed in the head, although in the end he was able to put himself a little bit together. He was by far the second strongest experiment from Kanus. The first one obviously being Kaneki. Now we have Noro, the infamous Noro, if you watch my last tier list. Yeah, I will put him in Dragon 2. Incredibly powerful character. As well. He died by the hands of Shirazu, but I think a lot of people sleep on Shirazu. Shirazu was quite a formidable fighter. And also he used an incredibly powerful Quink, which we will discuss it eventually. A lot of people sleep on Nutcracker. But yeah, Noro was definitely one of the most powerful and one of the most frightening. He was basically a machine up until his last moments, where he gets a little bit humanized. Totara, of course. I actually debated whether or not he was stronger than Noro. I was a little bit reticent about that, but ultimately I think Noro is probably stronger than Totara still. But yeah, quite a powerful character too. I think they're both more or less on the same level. I think, for now I'm going to put these two on Demon. They're incredibly powerful, but I don't know if they're really on the Dragon scale. I think Eto is even beyond their power levels, and even the other characters as well. Yeah, I'll probably change my mind. We'll see. I'll probably change my mind. I'm not sure yet. If I see that they belong in the Dragon category, I'll put them back on Dragon. But for now, I'm going to put them on Demon. So the Big Madame, she's quite, I do understand why she's at such a high rank. She's in the same rank as Nora and Tatara, and I think they're in SS plus, if I'm not mistaken. SS plus or SSS? Now I'm not quite sure. But yeah, a lot of people sleep on Madame. I actually agree that she is one of the strongest ghouls when it comes to sheer power, and she's quite intelligent as well. So I think that's also something to take in consideration. Now, do I think she's at demon? She deserves to be demon, the same place. No, I don't. I think Tartara and Nora are still stronger. So for now, let's have her stay at Tiger. She's quite formidable, but not quite demon, I would say. Again, just, don't think that Tiger and Wolf are, something like, some of the weakest. They're still quite strong, even Wolf, it's still quite a powerful ghouls, just not, again, on the same levels as the other ones. So next one we have Inami. Inami was at the same league as Madame, and I think Totara and Noro actually, the same ranking system. I'm going to put her next to Madame, obviously. Again, whether she's strong or not, I'm not going to. Then Madame, I'm not going to go deep into that. But yeah, she's, Inami, in terms of sheer strength, I probably would have put her below. But again, because this is also based on skill and other kinds of abilities, she has this incredible ability that she can hear a lot of things at great distances, and I think a lot of people sleep on that ability of hers. It's a really incredible ability. And also keep in mind, when she was fighting, God, I keep forgetting his name. Of course, I'm going in the editing room, I'm going to put his name up there, but for now I'm just going to call him the Owl. I'm blanking on his name. Forgive me. I never remember to do this. Have a list of the characters written down. It's my fault. But this guy, the Owl, right? For now, Inami was able to face him head on, and yes, he was going a little bit crazy at that point, and he obviously, although yes, he was fighting Isaac, but Isaac was being obliterated at the time, so it wasn't giving him much of a rundown. It was only afterwards, after Inami was protecting Heisei, that it was getting a little bit weaker. But yeah, she was able to go toe. Yes, you could say that he was holding back, but at the same time, it's like, yes, but he was holding back and he wasn't. He was definitely having fun with her, and she was still quite able to own her skills. And her Kagune is quite powerful as well. It's quite a strong Kagune. I think Inami is quite an intelligent character, so I think she definitely proved herself a lot of times in Re, so I think she definitely deserves to be on the Tiger category. Now we have Izumi, I think. Izumi or Irumi. And in the last tier list, I was blanking as well on her name. Obviously, she's quite a... Again, I feel like I'm going to say this a lot, but it's true. A lot of people sleeping on her as well. We're sleeping on her as well. She's quite a talented character as well, quite powerful character. I actually was surprised to see that she was on the ranking system. She was much above here the ape monkey, so above Reiji, I think it's his name. So that was actually quite surprising. I thought the two of them were more or less in the same power system, But yeah, again, but at the same time, I don't know if that was in order. So now this one is Sachi. So Sachi, I actually think he is actually more powerful. I will actually put Sachi in Demon. I think Sachi is much more powerful than Madame, and I think she's way more powerful than Madame, Inami, and Izumi. So it's one of the things that, if it's in order, I disagree with the wiki ranking system. I think, even though you know, he faced Arima and obviously got obliterated for it, he was still quite a powerful character. At this point, I think Kaneki was more powerful than Izumi. Definitely, I think it was stronger than Inami as well. The Inami and Ri, and Madame. So Sachi was able to obliterate Kaneki. So it's one of the things that, if it's in order, I disagree with that particular choice in the ranking system. So we have Heise here. Heise, I'm not going to put in here because, again, I told you guys I'm not going to pick on each personality. Even though Heise is probably the same level, if not a little bit stronger than White Hair Kaneki. Stronger than White Hair Kaneki. Because, not stronger, he's definitely more skilled, I would say. More skilled than White Hair Kaneki. Stronger, it's debatable. But again, because I'm going with the final version of Kaneki, I'm not going to count that. So we have Hayato. Hayato, I definitely believe he should be a demon. Whether or not he's stronger than Sachi, you know, again, I'm not going to go deep into that, but yeah, I think he definitely belongs in demon. And of course, as he grows up more in Ri, he becomes smarter. Before that, it was all about rage, you know. His strength really came from his rage. Even though he acted calm and collected, there was this lingering rage that you could sense from him. And I feel like as he controls more his impulses, he becomes stronger as a character. So Reiji, of course, I'm going to put a tiger. I do think, yes, I think Izumi is still stronger than him, but he's quite a strong character. You know, I think a lot of people sleep on him. You know what? I'm probably going to put him in Wolf. Now that I'm thinking about it, we'll see. I'm going to see if I'll change my mind. Again, I'm a newbie to this tier lists videos, so yeah. Donato Purpura, I don't agree with the ranking system. I feel like in Ri, when he gets unleashed, I think he shows that he's way more powerful than he appears to be. So I'm going to put in Demon. Not power. Kagune is incredibly advantageous, and also he's very, very smart. I think Purpura is one of the smartest characters here, so he definitely deserves to, you know, he's definitely above a lot of these characters. So we have Kurona. I think that was her name as well. I'm going to put her in Tiger. She's very close at being in Demon. She's quite a strong character. I do think she's the strongest in Tiger so far, but yeah, probably Tiger is the right spot. I don't think she's at Demon yet though. Uta, again, a lot of people I think sleep on Uta. Uta is definitely on Demon. I think is incredibly powerful. Specifically because Yomo is incredibly powerful too, and I think a lot of people sleep on Yomo. So, Nishiki, quite underrated as well. Although I still put him on Tiger. I don't think he's at Demon. And I actually going to compare, because in that ranking system, Nishiki is there, but Toki isn't. I think it's because they're counting on the public ghouls that the investigators had records from. That's why I think he's there, but I think Nishiki and Ri is not as strong as Toka, so and Toka, I wouldn't put her on Demon either, so yeah. Rize, here's the thing, because her final version is obviously Dragon, but because she wasn't controlling, it really came down to her cells, to her Kagune cells, right? But because she wasn't sentient, I don't know if it's fair for it's fair to put her in dragon. And because before that she's so mysterious, we don't know really how strong she is either. So I'm going to compromise and put her on demon, you know? Because again, she wasn't fully aware. Again, if we're counting on just raw power, she's definitely either dragon or god, right? But again, because of all the experiments, but because, you know, Kaneki was also part of those dragon experiments, so, you know, it's debatable. And since I'm counting the final versions, yeah, I'm going to compromise and, you know what, I'm going to, since I didn't put Kaneki on dragon, and obviously dragon fits so well with Kaneki, I'm going to put Rize on dragon. All right, the final version of, so that it all fits together. So now we have Misa, Triple Blade Misa. She's quite skillful. I don't know if I will put her in demon. Probably tiger is a good spot for her. The same thing with Uri. I think Uri is definitely the strongest of the tigers, I think, but he's not yet, because he wasn't able to defeat Donato. I don't know if I will put him in demon. He's quite strong as both an investigator and the ghoul, half ghoul, but I don't know if I will put him there still. Okay, so we have Naki. Naki is not a bad. He's actually on the SS Plus, I think. I don't think he's still on the SSS on the SSS. I think he's on the SS Plus, which I was actually very surprised. But yeah, skillfully, he's definitely not one of the strongest. But when it comes to raw power, he's quite slept on. He's not that weak. I still think Misa is stronger than Naki, but Naki I don't think is very far off Misa, I would say. Mainly because I think the biggest thing about Naki is his stamina. I think his stamina is just absolutely ridiculous, and that's why he is considered so dangerous as a ghoul in the ranking system. So now Nutcracker, she, as I mentioned before, she is one of the most slept on. I wouldn't put her on demon, but she's definitely on the higher rank of tiger for sure, because it was her Kagune, because even in the story, they rank her in a specific rank. I think it was S. They thought she was an S school, but then she went all up to SS Plus, I think, which was insane. It was a drastic change just because of her Kagune. Kagune's abilities is one of the most dangerous. I mean, she was able to defeat Noro. Her Quink was the reason why Noro was defeated in the first place. And I think that's one of, we have to take that in consideration. Definitely, she is one of the most slept on and dangerous schools for sure. Although, even though I don't know if I will put her I don't know if I will put her at demon, because when it comes to, she was clever, but I don't think she's as clever as someone like Uta, for example, or Donato. So, but just on her ability, on her Kagune's abilities, she's definitely on the high end of Tiger for sure. Jason, probably will put him, knowing how so many of these characters are in Re, I will probably, don't get me wrong, Jason is still a really dangerous ghoul, but again, seeing how he compares to so many of these characters in Re, I will put him in Wolf. Yeah, I will put him in Wolf. In hindsight, yeah, I don't think he will be in Tiger. Yeah. Tsukiyama, I will put him in Tiger as well. Don't think he's quite strong enough to be in Demon, but he's definitely one. I mean, he was one of the trio, right? Uta, Yomo, and Tsukiyama at the time in the original Tokyo Ghoul part. They were definitely some of the strongest. But because I'm going to talk about Toka in a bit, yeah, I couldn't. You know, I think it's perfect here in Tiger. Yomo, just like Uta, I mean, he was able to defeat Uta. Definitely Demon. He's incredibly slept on. He's definitely one of the strongest characters in Tokyo Ghoul, for sure. And Toka, obviously. Toka, I would put her in Tiger, but definitely, again, here she is below Tsukiyama, but I will put her above Tsukiyama. She was able to defeat Tsukiyama in the first part at her strongest, and she only really ate a part of Kaneki. I mean, so imagine if she will eat more. She will even be more powerful. And Tsukiyama, notice that Tsukiyama also didn't mind. He wasn't cannibalistic, but he still ate human flesh a lot. And Toka, at this point, she was incredibly weak, so it only took one bite for her to defeat Tsukiyama to be at her strongest. So yeah, even though we don't get to see a lot of her in Re, she's still. I think because of that we forget how strong she actually is. But yeah, Mutsuki, I wouldn't put her in Demon, but she's definitely on the upper echelon of Tiger. I will even say that she's stronger than Toka, for sure. Mutsuki becomes an absolute beast. Not only she has a great control over her fighting abilities, especially with knives, but her Kagune is one of the strongest as well. And obviously she becomes really crazy, so it even augments her power. It augments her power even more so. Shirazu, I will put him in Wolf. Yes, he was able to give the finishing blow to Noru, but again, as I mentioned, if it wasn't for that final blow for his Quink, is the Nutcracker's Quink, I don't think will have finished Noru. Shirazu is a strong, and his Quink at the height of his abilities is Kagune. I mean, at the height of his abilities is quite powerful, but Wolf is still quite good. Don't get me wrong. It's just he's not Tiger, I would say. Obviously, Psycho is going to be in Tiger as well. Probably even stronger than Mutsuki, I would say. Psycho is one of those slept characters as well. She is even in their final form, I feel like if she was even more committed, had more experience, she will be one of the absolute strongest. She is an incredible beast, for sure. Her Quink and her control over her Kagune, I mean, because Kagune are the representations of one's imagination, and Psycho has one of the biggest imaginations and one of the best controls over it, so we have to take definitely that. I would say if she wanted, Psycho would rival Eto when it comes to her Kagune transformation. I know that's a hot that's debatable for a lot of people, I'm sure, but honestly I do think she could definitely be there. Alongside Roma, at least, if she really committed and had more years of experience. Rose. I can't remember his name. I think it was not Karen. Was it Karen? If it's not Karen, it's going to be hilarious. I can't remember his name. And it was actually her. She was quite strong as well. I will put him in Wolf. I don't think he is even in his final form. He was able to give a swing at a Heise, but yeah, I will put him in Wolf still. Yeah. Furuta. Furuta, I'm going to put a Furuta in God. I think he is not only was able to beat Eto. Yes, Eto wasn't eating properly for a couple of weeks, I like to say, I would say, I think it was weeks that she was in in Coachella. But but still, you know, Eto was still immensely powerful, and Furuta, with the experiments, he was able to defeat her, and also at the end, you know, he's able to go toe to toe with Kaneki as well. So yeah, I think Furuta is definitely on God here. Juzo, I will put Juzo obviously in Dragon, not necessarily God, because obviously you have Arima, Kaneki, and yes, Juzo becomes sort of the next Arima, but you know, he's definitely not in the same level as Arima, I would say. And definitely not Dragon Kaneki, and not even Furuta, I would say. Dragon, I think he's definitely on the upper echelon of Dragon. Now we have one of the strongest investigators, and he's only human. I can't remember his name, neither I can remember his son's name, but I will put him in Tiger. I mean, he's only human. He's incredibly strong, you know. I would say he's stronger than the Monkey Devil, and I think he could rival Jason, honestly. Yeah, I think he could handle it. I will probably put him in Tiger. But again, I could change my mind. We'll see. Shinohara, I will put him in Tiger too. Shinohara is incredibly smart as a person, and he also, again, people forget these two investigators. They were able to use Toka's father's Arata, which was one of the strongest Kagunes in the series, you know, and incredibly deadly. And they were just human, you know. Juzo was able to use it, so, and it made him incredibly powerful. So I do think they should be in Tiger. Hiei, I think it was his name. Oh, I'm forgetting his name as well. I'm not good. I know their names, but when I'm doing this tier list, I never remember. I can never recall their names. He was quite formidable as well. He's quite a strong fighter, I would say. I think a lot of people sleep on him too. Is he on the same level as Shinohara though? I don't think so. I will put him in Wolf. You know, he's definitely on the top tier of Wolf. Amon, Demon, for sure. If not Dragon. I mean, he's really strong. Is he stronger than Noro and Tatara though? I will put him on the very top of Demon. You know, I don't know if I will put him in Dragon. He's definitely one of the strongest, I feel like. Maybe I will put him in Dragon. I think Hamon really becomes really strong at the end. But again, he struggled a little bit with Donato, but you know, it's debatable whether or not it was because of his emotions or not, if he was holding back. So I'm not remembering her name as well, but she's one of my favorites. I will put her in Wolf. She's really deadly as an investigator, but I will still put her in Wolf, I think. Mado was really crazy. He was one of the best. I will put him in Wolf too. I do think Shinohara is maybe not more skilled than Mado, but yeah, you know, I'm not dissing on Mado. It's just yeah, I'll put him in Wolf. Can't remember his name either, but he's definitely one of the strongest. I will put him in Tiger. Of course, Juzo's right hand. I will put him in Tiger also, but he's one of the high-ups. You know, again, very slept on, very underrated, but he was able to hold his own alongside Juzo when fighting Kaneki. Yes, Kaneki was handicapped at the time, but still, it's still an incredible feat. Definitely on the upper echelon of Tiger. So we also have the Sun. Obviously, I think he's even stronger than his dad. His feats are just amazing. He's just human, and he was able to choke a ghoul with his bare arms, which is absolutely impressive. This character here, I can't remember his name, but he was one of the Kishos. He was one of Arima's successors. He came from the Garden, I think. Tiger, for sure, as well. One of the upper echelons, too. By the end of the series, he becomes quite a formidable investigator. And to top it all off, we're going to have Akira. I'm going to put her in Wolf. Below Madro as well. Akira is not a bad... She's not a weak character, but again, she was never portrayed as a fighter in the series. That's why she always used a little bit more of her brain. And again, we never got to see her fight a lot, you know, or use her other skills, especially in Reese or final version. I will put her on below Wolf for sure. But because of a little bit of the context of the first part, yeah, she's still on the list. So yeah, I was... Again, as usual, I was hoping to make this video a little bit shorter. I don't know if you guys are going to watch this from beginning to end. Hopefully you will, but I still had a lot of fun doing this. Yeah, 43 mark or 44 was the best I could do. You know, again, I start talking about these characters and I can't stop. I probably could have made this much quicker. But again, what are you going to do? So yeah, this is my tier list. Again, you see all of these characters still here. These are the characters that I, you know, didn't feel like putting. There was, you know, a lot of them are just humans, so they're skillful, but they don't have much power. And the ghouls that are here as well, I don't think are noteworthy enough, with exception of the Bin brothers. But yeah, these are the main characters that I wanted to discuss. And again, I know if you're going to watch this video, don't expect, you know, I don't think you should expect a deep analysis of each character. I'm not, again, like I've mentioned, I'm not an expert at power scaling whatsoever, so don't take my word as law. I'm sure a lot of you are going to disagree with a lot of this, but yeah, I'm looking at this and I don't feel like there are a lot of characters here that I will change, honestly, so I'm quite comfortable with this. So yeah, again, it's not in order. Some of these characters, obviously, in their respective tier rankings, are above each other. I just didn't put it in order, but yeah, I quite like it. You know, it's not bad. It's not bad, this tier list. So hopefully you all enjoyed this. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. I know it's a long video, but again, I'm not going to even try anymore. It's just, it is what it is. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this tier list. Again, it was really fun to do this, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Hope you stay safe and well, and ja, mata.